Hey guys, it's Michelle and welcome to my channel, Inner Child Glow Up. So my first video was about 3 micro habits for change. I hope you watched that. If not, go back and check that out. But I wanted to do a kind of continuation of little things that you have to consciously remind yourself to do if you want to reach your goals. No matter what that goal is, it could be starting a YouTube channel, it could be weight loss, it could even be something like setting boundaries among other people, setting boundaries for yourself. So you allow yourself the room to grow. You give yourself the attention that you need rather than giving that attention to other people. And sometimes other people don't deserve your attention. So some of the micro habits I wanted to talk about. In my first video, I talked about journaling, about setting time for yourself, and I forget what the other one was, but it will come to me. Now, it was spending time with yourself and for yourself. So some of the things that I consciously remind myself to do is, in this self-growth period, you do have to give a lot of energy and attention to yourself. So I'm just going to use the example of weight loss because it's very simple. You have to make time to go to the gym. Whether you have a gym buddy or not, don't make your missing the gym someone else's excuse. Like, oh, because my friend didn't show up, I didn't go. No, that's your responsibility. Don't make your personal growth someone else's responsibility. I often hear people complain about their work, their environment, their coworkers. And, sometimes when that friend has complained enough, you kind of want to say, who's the common denominator? Is it you? What are you doing that is contributing to a positive environment if all you're doing is complaining negatively? And I know it's sometimes hard to get away from your coworkers, but you don't have to bring that stuff with you. You don't have to make that a problem when you're not at work. But anyways, my point is, like, what part are you contributing? Are you not creating protective boundaries to protect your own energy? If it is a negative work environment, or it could be you could be the one contributing to a negative work environment. So anywhere I go, whether it's work or network meeting and even church and even family, what type of habits are you contributing to a negative environment? So I had to cut out some toxic habits for myself. Like, for instance, let's talk about work or family. It's easy to jump in on the gossip. You have to be very strong and learn that if someone starts to gossip, I'm just going to say, you know what? I don't know anything about that. And I'm not going to participate. It could be really hard, especially if there's more than one person who likes to, as in my culture says it, chismes. And when somebody starts to do that, I know when I'm out of the room that they're going to talk about me. That's just how it is. And saying anything about someone else that's not contributing positively, what's the point? So karma is everything too. If I say something about someone behind their back, someone's going to say something about me. I would like to stay on the positive side of the karma. Same with work situations. If someone's having some drama, and sometimes you want to be the person to neutralize and fix it and say, hey, let's talk. She said this, she didn't mean this, she didn't mean that. Like, if it's nothing to do with you, step yourself out of it. You don't have to make other people's problems your own. And I had to learn this as an empath. I had to learn this coming out of my divorce, because even though I didn't want to be married anymore, I had this underlying feeling, and I had to come to therapy to realize this, that I felt not good enough. Like, someone didn't want me, and I have to feel worthy again. And that was a self-imposed prison. Just being raised in the Catholic Church, divorce is a bad thing. So somewhere instilled in my not just my head but my whole body that let me try to help other people, fix other people so that I would feel like a good person again. These were ways that I was toxic to myself, neglecting myself, and really just not addressing the lack of self-love that I was missing. I thought I was feeling it by being there for other people who didn't deserve me. Okay, so gossiping, very toxic habit. Complaining, we all need to vent every now and then, but you really have to be conscious. Are you just dumping? And what part are you playing? I've had to catch myself if I complain too much. And I do have those group of friends that understand, like, we do, we can be complainers to each other, but not to everyone. I think it's good to have like your core group of friends that you can just get it out. Okay, I understand, because sometimes you have to be validated. Like, you know what, that person did something really rude to you and you just need to be validated. Like, yeah, okay, I got it out. Thanks for letting me get that out, and let's get on with your life. Things like that. I think it's okay. I think it's okay to have good friends who understand that and who'll validate you and not just say, oh, you know what, if you're annoyed, then it's your fault. That's not what I mean. Some things we can let go, but constant complaining, constant like everything's someone else's fault, it's a bit of self-centered and narcissism. And I think we've all encountered those people. In the past, I've tried to tolerate or kind of try to change that person's perspective, but you have to realize it's not my problem to solve. I can only do so much, which means protect my space, protect my environment, and hey, you know what? Distance yourself. I have had to fire clients because of that reason of like, I can't absorb their toxic dumping because it affects my mood. It affects the way I work on them, and it gives me a headache. So we have to protect our energies and be around good people. Gossiping, it might be funny in the moment, but does you really feel good afterward? And when I started to do this work, I started to notice who makes me feel good when I'm around them and who makes me feel tired, anxious, stressed. Someone who's constantly calling you about their problems. And listen, this is a practice. Sometimes it's hard to say no. Sometimes you feel like I'm not being there as a friend. Friends should also be conscious if they are dumping their problems on you. Like me and one of my best friends, I might tell her a few things and say, I'm sorry, if this is too much, let me know, or or I know if she's sick, I'm not going to call her and unload all my problems on her for 2 hours. Some people don't have the capacity. I came to this realization when one of my good friends, like we meet for like Christmases and summers, and he had brought another friend with him who I hadn't seen in probably 2 decades. And he was like, do you hang around so-and-so? This was high school friends. And I had this realization. I said, you know what? Some people are really good people, and I love the way they call me just to say hi and support me. And other people's only call me when they are getting a divorce and they just use me for free therapy and I never hear from them again. And that's my fault. That's my fault for accepting that. And now I realize, like, you know what? If the phone rings and I see a name and it makes me anxious, don't answer it. I started to think of how are people contributing positively to my life, and then I don't have to answer everyone. And I want you to be this person too, because I want to be a positive person in people's lives. I don't want to call people just to dump my issues and insecurities. And again, like I said, we all have those friends, but it has to be a two-way street. Okay, so let me just recap, because I had quit participating in those toxic ways, when you start to do the work, you're going to notice out of your friends who is contributing positively and who is contributing negatively. So as I keep saying, if you have a goal, my goal is to build my YouTube channel. So this is my second channel, but my first channel, I was super disciplined, and because I've done it once, I know I have to start it all over again. Just do the exact same thing, be super disciplined. I have been contributing so much to my own personal and self-development. I have come a long way, and I've always been a good person. Okay, but toxic traits can happen, can reside in good people. And I have always been a good, loving, overgiving person, but when that becomes toxic is when I'm overgiving, when I'm neglecting myself, when I'm neglecting my own needs in order to hang out with the friend who's getting divorced and hang out with that friend who's having a breakup so they can dump their issues on me. In the meantime, I'm neglecting building my channel, I'm neglecting building my website, I'm neglecting the duties I have to do at home. Like when you are building something for yourself, there's less time for laundry. So I've got to choose. Am I gonna go out to dinner, or am I going to organize my house and my laundry tonight? So there were ways that I did in the past contribute to my own toxicity, because I really felt that helping others was going to make me a better person. Don't get me wrong now, that doesn't mean don't help people. That means I wasn't prioritizing myself. I had things to do. If it wasn't contributing to my growth, or if it was taking away from my growth, or taking away from my time and money, like for example, having to stop a job early to meet with a friend, or having to drive someone was a huge thing. Driving people for free, they wouldn't contribute and then I would be too scared to ask. And in essence, I was a big pushover. Being a pushover is toxic. Now that I have broken through that habit for myself, and I meet women who were like me in the past, the old me, I have a lot of compassion. But when I hear of their pushover ways, like enough is enough. And I have to be honest and tell them, you can't keep doing things for other people. You can't keep putting yourself down. And I do, with as much compassion as I have for them, have to distance myself, because I don't want to go back to my old ways of like, okay, let's take care of this person. It doesn't feel good. She has to get there herself. She or he, happens with both genders. He or she has to get them there herself. Otherwise, an empath like me, and if you are here at this video, you probably are an overgiver and an empath, and we really want to help people just out of the goodness of our hearts. We see good in people. We know people can do better, and that could take away from yourself, your own peace. Protect your own peace. It's very important. It's just like when you get on the airplane and they say if the oxygen mask drops from the ceiling, you have to put on yours first before you can help others. Absolutely true statement. And there's also another saying, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Not only that, but the more that you say yes to people, watch, they're going to keep asking and asking for more. It doesn't stop. I guarantee you. Don't feel bad to say no. And when you say no, they're not going to ask you anymore. This was very strange for me at first, because I was like, they're not asking me anymore. And I almost felt like useless. Like I can't do something for someone. I didn't see it as someone could easily take advantage of you that way. And I also didn't see it as, why are they asking someone else? Someone more capable, someone with the resources, not me, a single mom. And I didn't realize that for a long time. It took one of my friends, good friends, who's actually a therapist, And she said, Michelle, why do people keep asking you for things and favors? And I didn't realize, like, it's because I don't say no. And I felt bad to say no. And that all comes from my childhood and my relationship with my mom, of just always not feeling good enough, being made to feel not good enough, which made me the ultimate people pleaser. People pleasing is very toxic to yourself. And trust me, when people are aware, they'll either take advantage of you or be very annoyed or not want you around. And as I have learned to heal my people pleasing, I don't want to be around people pleasers. It's toxic. And that doesn't mean cut them out for good, but I've got to limit my time. Like, if it's a coworker, we're not going to hang out after work. I can't contribute to a people-pleasing environment anymore. And that's just me protecting my peace. Okay, so I'm going to cut here because I can go on and on about the ways we can sabotage ourselves, because it gets much deeper than this. And I will go into it of just the growth that I've had to do, because I didn't know that it was my relationship with my mom that was causing me to self-sabotage like all these years of my life. So there's little things we do that we think is normal until we learn, we go through therapy or growth or a spiritual awakening, we learn, wait, I've been doing that and it's been hurting me my whole life. Okay, so I hope you can take some of these things to heart. Let me know in the comments if this video resonates with you, and make a list. Just make a list. Are there situations, people, things, when the phone rings, do you not want to answer it? Why do you answer it anyways? Are there things you don't need to do? Do I need to keep volunteering at my kids' school? How do people make you feel when you're around them? Do you feel happier? Do you feel drained? Do you feel angry? Do you feel annoyed? And, do this for yourself. I once had a coach. She's not a coach anymore because I thought she was a bad coach. She said, Michelle, if you're annoyed, it's your problem, not theirs. And I thought that was just bad advice, because some people can be annoying. Like, let's just be honest. I'm not perfect, and I didn't have to tolerate other people. And for a long time, if like people give you advice like that, or if you sometimes learn that in church that you have to love your brothers and sisters, then you learn to tolerate bad behavior without sticking up for yourself. So I'm here to say, you stick up for yourself and know your boundaries. That doesn't mean you have to be mean and push them out or do anything physical. It just means know your boundaries and start to write down these things and start to notice of what situations are good for me and what is not. I promise this is going to build a healthier, happier you. So thank you guys so much for joining. If this resonated with you, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button, and share this with a friend who is going through a self-development, spiritual awakening journey with you. Not behind. If they're behind you, they might not get it, but with you. And I am here with you. Thank you guys so much for joining. Talk to you soon. Bye.